The alien ship moved slowly through space toward Earth. Inside the ship, Ambassador Zekthara looked at the blue and green planet through the large window. His long purple fingers held a datapad that showed pictures of humans. The pictures came from old TV shows and radio signals that humans had sent into space many years ago. "They look weak," said Commander Yelsik, standing next to the ambassador. "Their bodies are soft, no claws, no sharp teeth. How did they become the leaders of their planet?" Zekthara nodded. "The humans in the pictures wore strange clothes and smiled a lot. They seemed peaceful. The Valdorian Federation had been watching Earth for 2 years now. They wanted to make friends with humans and trade with them. Earth had many things the aliens needed, like metals and water. Our spies say humans are very smart," Zekthara said. "They went from simple tools to space travel in just a few thousand years. That is very fast." The alien ship was huge, bigger than any building on Earth. It had white walls and blue lights. The crew was getting ready for the first meeting with humans. They had learned some English words from the old TV shows. Words like hello and friend and peace. What they did not know was that humans were not alone on their planet. On the Earth space station called New Frontier, Captain Jake Morrison was also getting ready. He stood in his small room and looked at his blue uniform in the mirror. Today was the biggest day in human history. Today, humans would meet aliens for the first time. A soft bark came from behind him. Jake turned around and smiled at his dog, Rex. Rex was a German shepherd with black and brown fur. He had been with Jake for 5 years. Rex went everywhere. "With Jake, even to space? Ready for today, boy?" Jake asked, scratching Rex behind the ears. Rex's tail wagged fast. He did not understand that today was special, but he knew Jake was excited. Dogs could always tell how their humans felt. Jake put on his uniform jacket and walked to the main meeting room. Rex followed next to him, his claws clicking on the metal floor. Other crew members were already there. They all looked nervous. Doctor. Lisa Carter stood near a big table. She was a scientist who studied alien life. Her job was to help humans understand the aliens they were about to meet. She had brown hair and kind eyes. She looked up when Jake walked in. "Are you ready, Captain?" she asked. "As ready as anyone can be," Jake said. "Have you heard anything new about them?" "Not much," Lisa said. "They call themselves the Valdorian Federation. They seem to want peace. They asked to meet on our space station instead of on Earth. That shows they trust us." Commander Ben Rodriguez walked over to them. He was a big man with a thick mustache. His golden dog, Buddy, walked beside him. Buddy was always happy and friendly. His tongue hung out as he panted. "The alien ship is almost here," Ben said. "They will dock in 20 minutes. Jake nodded. He felt nervous but excited too. This was what every human had dreamed about. Meeting other smart beings from space, but he also felt safe because Rex was with him. Rex always made him feel better. The 3 humans and their dogs waited in the meeting room. The room had a long table with chairs around it. Earth flags hung on the walls. Everything looked perfect for the meeting. 20 minutes later, a voice came over the speakers. "Alien ship is docking now. Prepare for visitors." Jake's heart beat faster. Rex seemed to sense this and moved closer to Jake's leg. Dogs always knew. When their humans needed them, the door to the meeting room opened. 3 aliens walked in. They were tall and thin, with purple skin and large black eyes. They had long fingers and no hair. They wore silver clothes that looked like metal. Ambassador Zekthara was the first alien to enter. He looked around the room with his big eyes. He saw the humans and thought they looked just like the pictures. Small, weak, harmless. Then he saw the dogs. Zekthara stopped walking. His eyes grew even bigger. Behind him, the other aliens also stopped. They all stared at Rex, who was sitting quietly next to Jake. Rex was not doing anything scary. He was just sitting and panting. His tail wagged a little because he was curious about these strange new visitors. But to the aliens, Rex looked like a monster. The aliens saw sharp white teeth in Rex's mouth. They saw powerful muscles under his fur. They saw claws on his feet. Their scanning devices told them that Rex could run faster than any human. Rex could bite with enough force to break bones. Rex could fight and win against most creatures. "What is that thing?" Commander Yelsik whispered in the alien language. "I do not know," Zekthara whispered back. "But the human is not afraid of it. Look how close it sits to him." The alien's translator devices were trying to understand what they were seeing. The devices could translate words, but they could not translate relationships. They could not understand why a human would keep a dangerous animal so close. Jake stepped forward with a big smile. "Welcome to our space station," he said. "I am Captain Jake Morrison. We are very happy to meet you." The aliens did not move. They kept staring at Rex. Rex tilted his head to one side, the way dogs do when they are confused. This made him look cute to humans, but it scared the aliens even more. "Are you keeping that creature as a prisoner?" Zekthara asked in careful English. Jake looked confused. "Prisoner? You mean Rex?" "No, he is my friend. He is my dog." The word dog went into the aliens' translator devices. The devices said that dogs were animals that humans kept for hunting and protection. This made the aliens even more worried. Dr. Lisa Carter stepped forward. "Please, do not be afraid," she said. "Dogs are our friends. They live with us. They help us. They love us." The aliens looked at each other. Love? How could a dangerous animal love anything? In their world, strong animals ate weak animals. That was the way of nature. "You control these beasts with your mind?" asked Commander Yelsik. "Control?" Jake laughed. "I do not control Rex. Rex chooses to be with me. Watch this." Jake looked down at Rex. "Rex, sit." Rex was already sitting, but he sat up straighter to show he was listening. "Good boy," Jake said. Patting Rex's head, the aliens jumped back when Jake touched Rex. They expected Rex to attack Jake for touching him. Instead, Rex's tail wagged harder. The aliens' devices picked up a strange sound coming from Rex's throat. It was not a growl, it was a sound of happiness. "He is pleased," Dr. Carter explained. "Dogs make that sound when they are happy." The aliens could not believe what they were seeing. The beast was happy when the human touched him. The beast was happy when the human gave him commands. This was not how nature worked. Commander Ben Rodriguez decided to help. He called to his dog, "Buddy, come here." Buddy ran over to Ben with his tongue hanging out. He sat down and looked up at Ben with loving eyes. Ben scratched Buddy's ears. "Good dog," Ben said. Now there were two beasts in the room. The aliens moved closer together for safety. Their hands moved toward their weapons. "Please," Dr. Carter said quickly, "they will not hurt you. Dogs protect humans. They help humans." "They are our family?" "Family?" Zekthara asked. The word did not translate well. In his language, family meant creatures that were the same species. How could different species be family? Jake could see that the aliens were scared. He wanted to show them that dogs were safe. He knelt down next to Rex and put his arm around the dog's neck. Rex leaned into Jake and his tail wagged. "Rex has been with me for 5 years, Jake said. "He has saved my life many times. He would die to protect me, and I would die to protect him." The aliens stared in shock. The human was willing to die for the beast? The beast was willing to die for the human. This was impossible. Ambassador Zekthara realized that everything they thought they knew about humans was wrong. Humans were not alone on their planet. They lived with dangerous animals that chose to help them. Somehow, humans had made friends with predators. The meeting was supposed to be about trade and peace. Instead, it had become about something much more frightening. Humans had powers that the aliens did not understand. They could make wild animals love them. The first day of contact between humans and aliens had begun. But it was not going the way anyone had planned. The alien ship's communication room buzzed with activity. Ambassador Zekthara stood in front of a large screen that showed the faces of the Valdorian High Council. The 5 council members looked worried as they listened to his report. "You are saying that humans keep war beasts as companions?" asked Council Leader Mordek. Her voice was sharp and cold. This makes no sense. I saw it with my own eyes, Zekthara said. The creatures are clearly dangerous. Our scanner showed they have powerful jaws and sharp claws. They could kill a human child easily. But the humans act like these beasts are harmless. Council member Velther leaned forward. Do the humans use technology to control these creatures? Mind control devices? We found no such devices, Zekthara replied. The humans simply speak to the beasts, and the beasts obey. They even touch the creatures with their bare hands. The beasts seemed to enjoy this contact. The council members looked at each other with worried expressions. In their world, strong creatures dominated weak ones. It was the natural order. But humans seem to have broken this order somehow. We must learn more, said Council Leader Morduck. If humans can control dangerous beasts, they might be more dangerous than we thought. Continue your studies. Report. Back in 3 days, the screen went dark. Zekthara looked at his two companions. Commander Yelsik and Science Officer Creven both looked as confused as he felt. What do we do now? Asked Yelsik. We learn, Zekthara said. The humans invited us to visit their planet. We must see how they live with these beasts. Back on Earth, Dr. Lisa Carter was preparing for the aliens' visit. She had been chosen to show them how humans and dogs live together. She hoped she could help the aliens understand that dogs were not dangerous monsters. Lisa's laboratory was in a building near the Space Center. She had worked there for 10 years, studying how different species communicated. She had never thought she would use her knowledge to help aliens understand dogs. Her assistant, Dr. Kevin Walsh, was setting up cameras and recording equipment. Kevin was young and excited about meeting aliens. He had short red hair and always wore a smile. Are you sure this will work? Kevin asked. The aliens seemed pretty scared yesterday. I hope so, Lisa said. We need to show them that dogs are family to us, not weapons. The door opened and a man walked in. He was tall and strong, with gray hair and kind eyes. This was Danny Williams, a retired Marine who had served in 3 wars. He had agreed to help with the demonstration. Danny was not alone. 3 dogs followed him into the room. The first was Max, a border collie with black and white fur. Max was very smart and could solve puzzles that confused some humans. The second was Luna, a pit bull with brown fur and a gentle face. The third was Scout, a yellow Labrador mix who had been trained to detect when people were sick. Ready for the show? Danny asked with a grin. As ready as we can be, Lisa replied. An hour later, the aliens arrived. They wore the same silver clothes as before, but now they also carried small devices that looked like weapons. They stayed close together as they entered the laboratory. Zekthara saw the 3 dogs immediately. His eyes grew wide. There are more of them, he whispered to his companions. The dogs were lying quietly on the floor near Danny. Max was chewing on a rubber toy. Luna was sleeping in a patch of sunlight. Scout was watching the door, his tail wagging slowly. Please, sit down, Lisa said, pointing to some chairs. We want to show you how dogs really behave. The aliens sat down but kept their eyes on the dogs. They were ready to run if the beasts attacked. Danny smiled at the aliens. These are my friends, he said. I have had them for many years. They live in my house with me and my family. In your house? Asked Zekthara. You allow these predators in your home? They are not predators, Danny said. Well, not anymore. Long ago, dogs were wild animals, but humans and dogs became friends. Thousands of years ago, we changed together. Dogs learned to live with humans. Humans learned to care for dogs. Danny walked over to Max. The border collie looked up at him with bright eyes. Danny held up a puzzle toy with hidden treats inside. Max. Solve, Danny said. Max took the toy and began working on it. He used his nose and paws to move different parts of the puzzle. The aliens watched in amazement as Max figured out how to open the toy and get the treats inside. He is very smart, Danny said proudly. Border collies are bred to think and solve problems. Max can learn new tricks in just a few minutes. The aliens looked confused. Bred? Asked Science Officer Creven. Humans have been choosing which dogs have babies for thousands of years, Lisa explained. We choose dogs that are smart or friendly or good at certain jobs. Over time, this creates dogs that are perfect for living with humans, Danny called Luna over. The pit bull stood up and walked to him slowly. Her tail wagged and her tongue hung out. She looked completely relaxed and happy. Many people think pit bulls are dangerous, Danny said. But Luna is the gentlest dog I have ever known. She plays with my 5-year-old daughter every day. She has never hurt anyone. To prove his point, Danny sat on the floor. Luna immediately lay down next to him and put her head on his leg. Danny scratched behind her ears, and Luna closed her eyes in contentment. Luna was a rescue dog, Danny continued. Someone hurt her when she was young. She was afraid of people when I first got her. But with love and patience, she learned to trust. Again. Now she is the happiest dog in the world. The aliens could not believe what they were seeing. This dangerous beast was acting like a gentle pet. She was not trying to dominate the human. She was not showing any signs of aggression. How do you know she will not attack? Asked Commander Yelsic. Because I know her, Danny said simply. Dogs are individuals, just like humans. Each one has a different personality. Luna's personality is gentle and loving. Scout suddenly stood up and walked over to Dr. Carter. He sniffed around her legs and then sat down in front of her. He looked up at her with worried eyes. What is he doing? Asked Zekthara. Lisa looked surprised. I think Scout is detecting something. He is trained to smell when people have medical problems. Scout barked once and then lay down at Lisa's feet. Lisa pulled out a small device and pricked her finger. A drop of blood appeared on a test strip. My blood sugar is low, Lisa said, looking at the device. Scout could smell the change in my body chemistry. He is warning me that I need to eat something. The aliens stared in shock. The beastos protecting the human from a health problem. That the human had not even noticed. Kevin quickly brought Lisa a candy bar. She ate it and tested her blood again. Better, she said. Thank you, Scout. Scout's tail wagged and he looked proud of himself. Scout has saved my life 3 times, Lisa explained to the aliens. Once when I had a heart problem, once when I was about to have an allergic reaction, and once when I had low blood sugar like today. He can smell these problems before I feel them. The aliens' understanding of the world was being turned upside down. These creatures were not just living with humans. They were actively protecting humans from dangers that humans could not detect. A new person entered the room. It was Lieutenant Amy Foster from the K-9 unit. She was a soldier, dressed in military uniform. Next to her walked a large dog with pointed ears and alert eyes. This was Titan, a Belgian Malinois. Sorry I'm late, Amy said. We just got back from a mission. The aliens tensed when they saw Titan. This dog looked more dangerous than the others. His muscles were clearly defined under his short fur. His eyes were sharp and focused. Titan is a working dog, Amy explained. He helps soldiers find bombs and catch bad people. He has been in combat many times. The aliens expected this war beast to be aggressive and violent. Instead, Titan sat calmly next to Amy and waited for her. Commands. Titan down, Amy said. Titan immediately lay down on the floor. Stay, Amy said, and walked across the room. Titan did not move. He watched Amy but remained perfectly still. He could easily overpower me, Amy said. But he chooses to obey because he trusts me and I trust him with my life. Amy called Titan over. The dog ran to her and sat at her feet. Amy reached into her pocket and pulled out a tennis ball. Titan's whole body wiggled with excitement. Even the toughest working dogs are still dogs, Amy said with a smile. They love to play. She threw the ball across the room. Titan ran after. It caught it and brought it back to Amy. His tail wagged the whole time. The aliens watched this killer play like a happy child. They saw the joy in Titan's eyes. They saw the love between Amy and her dog. I do not understand, Zekthara said. Quietly, how can creatures be so dangerous and so gentle at the same time? Because they choose to be gentle, Danny said. Dogs could hurt us if they wanted to, but they do not want to hurt us. They want to help us. They want to be with us. They want to make us happy. The aliens sat in silence, trying to process what they had learned. Everything they thought they knew about the natural order was wrong. Humans had not conquered these beasts. They had made friends with them, and somehow that seemed even more impossible to understand. The next morning, the aliens stood at the window of their shuttle as it flew toward Earth's surface. Below them, green forests and blue oceans stretched as far as they could see. Cities with millions of humans dotted the landscape like small lights. "Are you sure this is safe?" asked Commander Yelsik. "We will be surrounded by humans and their beasts." Ambassador Zekthara nodded slowly. "We must understand how they live. The High Council demands answers." Dr. Lisa Carter sat in the pilot's seat, flying the shuttle. She had been chosen to guide the aliens through their first visit to Earth. Behind her, the three aliens held tightly to their seats. They had never been on a planet with so many different life forms. "Our first stop is a human neighborhood," Lisa explained. "You will see how humans and dogs live together in their daily lives." The shuttle landed in a park in the middle of a small town. The aliens stepped out carefully, looking around at the strange new world. Trees grew everywhere, and the air smelled of flowers and grass. It was very different from their home planet, which was mostly metal cities and dry deserts. "It is so?" "Green," whispered Science Officer Creven. "How do humans control all these plants?" "We do not control them," Lisa said. "We let them grow. We think nature is beautiful." The aliens found this idea very strange. On their world, everything was organized and controlled. Wild plants were cut down to make room for buildings and roads. They walked along a path through the park. Soon they came to a large open area with grass and benches. Lisa had told them this was called a dog park. The aliens expected to see some kind of prison or training facility for the dangerous beasts. Instead, they saw something that made no sense at all. Dogs of all sizes were running around freely. There were tiny dogs, no bigger than the aliens' hands, and huge dogs that were bigger than some humans. They were all playing together, chasing balls and running in circles. "Where are the guards?" asked Zekthara. "How do the humans keep the beasts from escaping?" "There are no guards," Lisa said. "The dogs stay because they want to stay. Look." She pointed to a small gate at the edge of the park. The gate was open. Dogs could leave any time they wanted, but none of them were trying to escape. A small human child, maybe 5 years old, was throwing a stick for a large golden retriever. The dog ran after the stick, brought it back, and dropped it at the child's feet. The child giggled and threw the stick again. "The beast could kill that child easily," Yelsik said. "Why does it not attack?" "Because the dog loves children," Lisa explained. "Dogs protect human children. They think of them as their own babies." As if to prove her point, the child tripped and fell down. The golden retriever immediately ran over and licked the child's face. The child stopped crying and hugged the dog around the neck. The aliens watched in amazement. The predator was comforting the injured child, not attacking it, a woman called out from across the park. "Honey, come here. Time to go home." The child stood up and started walking toward the woman. The golden retriever followed closely, staying between the child and the road. When they reached the woman, she patted the dog's head. "Good boy, Charlie," she said. "Thank you for watching Emma." The woman, child, and dog walked away together like a family. The aliens could not understand how 3 such different creatures could live together peacefully. "Come," Lisa said. "Let me show you more." They walked to another part of the park where older children were playing. A group of teenagers sat on the grass and several dogs lay around them in the sunshine. One boy was reading a book while a border collie slept with its head on his lap. A girl was brushing a German shepherd's fur while the dog lay on its side, completely relaxed. "The beasts are not even restrained," Creven observed. "They could attack at any moment." "They could," Lisa agreed, "but they will not. Watch what happens when I call them." Lisa walked over to the teenagers. "Hello," she said. could you call your dogs over here? I would like to show my friends something. Sure, said the boy with the book. Come on, Sam. The border collie lifted its head and looked at the boy. The boy patted his leg, and the dog stood up and walked over to him. Good boy, the boy said, scratching the dog's ears. The girl called her German shepherd over as well. Soon, all the dogs in the area were sitting calmly next to their human companions. Now, watch, Lisa said to the aliens. She walked away from the group about 50 feet. Sam, come here, she called. The border collie looked at its owner. The boy nodded and said, Go ahead. The dog ran over to Lisa, wagging its tail. Lisa petted the dog and gave it a small treat from her pocket. He came to me because his owner said it was okay, Lisa explained. Dogs listen to their human families, but they also make their own choices. The aliens were beginning to understand that the relationship between humans and dogs was more complicated than they had thought. It was not about control or domination. It was about cooperation and choice. Their next stop was a veterinary hospital. Dr. Stephen Martinez met them at the entrance. He was a kind man with gentle hands who had been taking care of animals for 20 years. Welcome to our animal hospital, he said. Here, we help dogs and other animals when they are sick or hurt. The aliens followed him inside. The building was clean and bright with rooms full of medical equipment. It looked like a hospital for humans, but it was built for animals. You spend resources to heal these beasts? Asked Zekthara. Of course, Dr. Martinez said. Dogs are family members. When they are sick, we help them get better. He led them to a room where a large German shepherd lay on a table. The dog's leg was wrapped in bandages. A woman stood next to the table, holding the dog's head and speaking softly to him. This is Rocky, Dr. Martinez explained. He was hurt in a car accident yesterday. His owner, Mrs. Johnson, brought him here for surgery. Mrs. Johnson looked up at them with tears in her eyes. Rocky has been with my family for 8 years, she said. He's like my son. I would do anything to help him. The aliens watched as Dr. Martinez checked Rocky's bandages. The dog could have bitten the doctor's hands easily, but instead he lay still and let the human touch his injured leg. Rocky knows we are trying to help him, Dr. Martinez said. Dogs understand when humans are trying to heal them. They trust us. The aliens saw something that shocked them even more. Mrs. Johnson had spent thousands of dollars on Rocky's surgery. She had used her own money to save a creature that could not pay her back. Why do you spend so much money on beasts? Asked Yelsic. Because we love them, Mrs. Johnson said simply. Rocky has given us 8 years of love and loyalty. Now it is our turn to take care of him. The aliens left the veterinary hospital with their minds spinning. Humans were spending their own resources to help creatures that gave them nothing in return except companionship. Their last stop of the day was the most confusing yet. They went to a place called an animal shelter. This was where humans kept dogs that did not have families. Maria Santos met them at the entrance. She was a small woman with dark hair and a big smile. She had been running the shelter for 15 years. Welcome to our shelter, she said. We take care of dogs that need homes. Would you like to meet some of them? The aliens followed her inside. The building was full of cages with dogs of all sizes. Some were barking, some were sleeping, and some were wagging their tails at the visitors. These beasts have no owners? Asked Zekthara. Not yet, Maria said, but we hope to find families for all of them. Every dog deserves to be loved. She stopped in front of a cage with a small brown dog inside. The dog looked sad and scared. This is Pepper, Maria said. She was found on the street last week. She was very hungry and scared. But with love and care, she will learn to trust humans again. The aliens could not understand why humans would keep dogs that gave them nothing in return. These dogs did not work or fight or hunt. They just ate food and took up space. We spend money to feed them, Maria explained. We pay for their medical care, we clean their cages, we exercise them every day, all because we believe every dog deserves a chance at happiness. A thunderstorm started outside while they were in the shelter. Rain poured down and lightning flashed in the sky. The aliens were not afraid of storms, but they noticed that many of the dogs were whimpering and hiding in their cages. Maria looked worried. "I hate storms," she said. "They scare me." Suddenly, a large dog in a nearby cage started barking. But he was not barking at the storm. He was barking at Maria, trying to get her attention. "That is Bruno," Maria said. "He always tries to comfort me when I am scared." She walked over to Bruno's cage and put her hand against the bars. Bruno licked her fingers and wagged his tail. "Even though he is in a cage, he still wants to help me," Maria said. "That is what dogs do. They care about humans, even when humans have not earned their love." The aliens watched in amazement as the prisoner tried to comfort his guard. This was the opposite of everything they understood about the natural order. As they prepared to leave Earth that evening, the aliens realized they had seen something impossible. They had seen a world where strong creatures chose to serve weak ones, where predators protected their supposed prey, where love was more powerful than fear. "What will we tell the High Council?" asked Yelsik. Zekthara looked back at the planet below them. "We will tell them that humans are not what they seem. They have powers we do not understand." Back on their ship, the three Valdorian scientists worked late into the night. Their computers showed charts and graphs about human-dog relationships. The data made no sense according to everything they knew about nature. Science Officer Creven looked up from his screen with tired eyes. "The readings are impossible," he said. "These creatures should be fighting for dominance. Instead, they are cooperating." Ambassador Zekthara rubbed his long purple fingers across his forehead. "Our scans show that dogs are physically superior to humans in many ways. They are faster, stronger, have better senses, yet they choose to follow human commands. Not just follow," added Commander Yelsik. "They seem to enjoy following commands. The scanning devices detect pleasure chemicals in their brains when humans praise them." The ambassador called up a video recording from their visit to Earth. It showed the little girl playing with the golden retriever in the park. He watched it for the 10th time, trying to understand what he was seeing. "Look at this moment," he said, pointing to the screen. "The beast could end the child's life in seconds. Instead, it protects her from harm. This goes against every law of nature we know." The door to their meeting room opened. Dr. Lisa Carter walked in with a cup of coffee in her hands. She had been invited to their ship to continue explaining human culture. "Have you learned anything new?" she asked, sitting down across from them. "We have learned that everything we thought we knew about survival is wrong," Creven said. "On our world, the strong rule the weak. It is the natural way." Lisa sipped her coffee and thought carefully. "Dogs were once strong and wild," she said. "But they chose to give up some of their strength to gain something better? What could be better than strength?" asked Yelsik. "Love," Lisa said simply. "Family, a safe place to live. Regular food, medical care when sick, and the knowledge that someone cares about you." The aliens looked at each other. These concepts were hard for them to understand. On their world, individuals fought for resources. The idea of sharing resources freely was strange to them. "We would like to see more examples," Zekthara said. "Our High Council needs to understand how this relationship developed." Lisa nodded. "I have arranged for you to meet someone special. His name is Alex Thompson. He is a veteran who was hurt in a war. His dog helps him every day." An hour later, they met Alex in the ship's main meeting room. He was a young man in a wheelchair, with kind eyes and strong arms. Next to him sat a large black dog with intelligent brown eyes. This was Samson, Alex's service dog. "Thank you for meeting with us," Zekthara said carefully. "We are trying to understand your relationship with this ... with Samson." Alex smiled and patted Samson's head. "Samson is not just my dog. He is my partner. He helps me do things that I cannot do alone." To show what he meant, Alex dropped his keys on the floor. Before Alex could reach for them, Samson picked up the keys with his mouth and placed them in Alex's hand. "Good boy," Alex said, and Samson's tail wagged. The aliens watched this with amazement. The beast had seen a problem and solved it without being asked. How did you train him to do this? Asked Creven. Training is part of it, Alex explained. But the most important part is that Samson wants to help me. He sees that I need assistance, and he chooses to provide it. Alex showed them more of Samson's abilities. When Alex started to have a panic attack from his war memories, Samson immediately stood up and pressed his body against Alex's legs. The dog's weight and warmth helped Alex feel safe again. Samson can sense when I am having problems before I even know it myself, Alex said. He watches me constantly, looking for signs that I need help. The aliens realized they were seeing something unprecedented. This creature was dedicating its entire life to caring for one human, and the human was providing food, shelter, and medical care in return. This is a trade agreement, Yelsik said suddenly. The beast provides services and the human provides resources. It is more than that, Alex said. Samson does not help me because he has to. He helps me because he loves me. And I love him. The word love appeared again. The aliens' translation devices still could not properly explain what this meant. Can you show us more humans and dogs? Zekthara asked. Lisa led them to another part of the space station where they met Commander Nicole Peterson. She was a rescue specialist who worked with her dog Ranger to find people who were lost or trapped. Ranger and I are a team, Nicole explained. We have worked together for 6 years. He can follow scent trails that are days old. Ranger was a bloodhound with long ears and a serious expression. He looked like he was always concentrating on something important. Yesterday, we found a missing hiker, Nicole continued. The man had been lost in the mountains for 3 days. Ranger followed his scent trail for 12 miles through difficult terrain. The aliens looked at Ranger with new respect. This creature had abilities that even their advanced technology could not match. The rescue took 18 hours, Nicole said. Ranger never gave up. He did not stop to rest or eat until we found the lost man. Why did the beast work so hard for a human he had never met? Asked Creven. Because that is what rescue dogs do, Nicole replied. They save people, it makes them happy to help humans. She showed them a video on her tablet. It was from the rescue mission. In the video, Ranger was following a scent trail through thick forest. His nose stayed close to the ground as he led Nicole and her team over rocks and fallen trees. When they finally found the lost hiker, the man was hurt and scared. Ranger approached him slowly and gently, not wanting to frighten him. The hiker reached out and petted Ranger's head. Thank you, the hiker said in the video. Good dog. The aliens watched Ranger's reaction. The dog's whole body showed happiness. His tail wagged, his mouth opened in what humans called a smile, and he moved closer to the man he had just saved. Ranger was proud, Nicole explained. He knew he had done something good. Rescue dogs live for moments like this. The aliens began to understand that dogs did not just obey humans, they had their own desires and goals. And somehow, those goals involved helping humans. We need to see where you live, Zekthara said to Nicole. We need to understand how you and Ranger share a home. Nicole agreed to take them to her quarters on the space station. It was a small apartment with a bedroom, bathroom, and living area. What surprised the aliens was how much of the space was shared. Ranger had his own bed next to Nicole's bed. He had food and water bowls in the kitchen. He had toys scattered around the living room. But he also shared Nicole's furniture. His hair was on the couch where he liked to nap. His favorite spot was clearly the chair by the window where he could watch for Nicole to come home. Ranger lives here as much as I do, Nicole said. This is his home too. The aliens found this concept very strange. On their world, different species never shared living spaces. Do you not worry that he will take over your territory? Asked Yelsik. Nicole laughed. Ranger is not trying to take over anything. He just wants to be near me. Look. She sat down on the couch. Ranger immediately came over and put his head in her lap. Nicole scratched behind his ears, and Ranger closed his eyes in contentment. He could be sleeping on his own bed, Nicole said. But he prefers to be close to me. Dogs are pack animals. They want to be part of a family. The aliens watched this peaceful scene and realized something that shocked them. The human and dog were not master and servant. They were not even equals trading services. They were something their language had no word for. They were family. The revelation continued when Captain Jake Morrison arrived with his wife, Jennifer, and their new baby. Jennifer carried the tiny human infant in her arms while Rex walked beside them. The aliens tensed immediately. They were about to witness a predator meet a helpless human baby. "Rex, meet your new sister," Jennifer said softly. She sat down and held the baby so Rex could see her. Rex approached very slowly and carefully. He sniffed the baby gently, then looked up at Jennifer as if asking for permission. "It is okay," Jennifer said. "She is family." Rex lay down next to Jennifer's chair and rested his head on his paws. His eyes stayed focused on the baby, but his body language showed no aggression. Instead, he looked protective and caring. "Rex guards the baby," Jake explained to the aliens. "He watches over her while she sleeps. If she cries, he comes to get us. He has appointed himself as her protector." The aliens could not speak. They were watching a creature with the power to kill protect the most vulnerable member of another species. Not because he was forced to, but because he chose to. "This makes no sense," Creven whispered. "The beast gains nothing from protecting the infant. She cannot feed him or shelter him." "He gains love," Jennifer said, having overheard. "Rex loves our baby because she is part of our family. And love is more valuable than food or shelter." The aliens realized that humans had accomplished something impossible. They had created relationships based not on strength or resources, but on something their science could not measure or understand. They had created relationships based on love, and somehow that made humans more powerful than any species the aliens had ever encountered. 3 days later, Ambassador Zekthara stood in front of the High Council again. The 5 alien leaders watched him through the communication screen, waiting for his final report about humans and their strange beasts. "What have you learned?" asked Council Leader Mordek. Her voice was cold and impatient. "I have learned that humans are not what we thought," Zekthara began. "They have formed partnerships with dangerous creatures through something they call love. This bond is stronger than any force we understand." Council member Veltha leaned forward. "You mean they control these beasts through emotion?" "No," Zekthara said carefully. "They do not control them at all. The creatures choose to help humans. In return, humans care for them like family members." The council members looked at each other with worried faces. This was not what they expected to hear. "This threatens everything we believe," said another council member. "Our empire is built on the strong ruling the weak. If humans can make partnerships instead of conquering, other species might learn to do the same. What do you recommend?" asked Mordek. Before Zekthara could answer, alarms began ringing throughout the ship. Red lights flashed on every wall. The ship's computer spoke in urgent tones. "Emergency. Solar storm detected. Navigation systems failing. All crew to emergency stations." The communication with the High Council cut off immediately. Zekthara ran to the bridge where Commander Yelsik and Science Officer Creven were working frantically at their control panels. "How bad is it?" Zekthara asked. "Very bad," Yelsik replied. "The solar storm has damaged our main computers. We cannot navigate. Our engines are not working properly. We are trapped in Earth's orbit. Can we repair the damage?" "Not with our current equipment," Creven said. "We need replacement parts that we do not have." The aliens looked at each other with fear in their eyes. They were stranded around an alien planet millions of miles from home, on the Earth space station. Captain Jake Morrison received the emergency call from the alien ship. He was in his office with Rex when the message came through. "This is Ambassador Zekthara," the alien's voice crackled through the speaker. "Our ship has been damaged by the solar storm. We need assistance." Jake looked at his communications officer. "Are they asking for help?" "Yes, sir." "Their navigation and engines are failing. They cannot return to their home planet." Jake thought for a moment. These aliens had seemed afraid of humans and their dogs. Some people might say it was better to. Let them stay trapped. But Jake was a good man who believed in helping others. Send a response, Jake said. Tell them we will help them. Within an hour, human repair teams were on their way to the alien ship. Captain Morrison led the mission himself along with Rex and several other crew members with their dogs. The aliens watched nervously as the human shuttle docked with their ship. They still did not fully understand why humans would help them. "Why are they doing this?" asked Creven. "We are potential enemies. It would be safer to let us remain trapped." "I do not know," Zekthara replied. "Perhaps this is another example of their strange behavior." The airlock opened and Jake Morrison floated into the alien ship. Rex followed close behind, moving gracefully in the low gravity. Behind them came a team of human engineers with tool bags and repair equipment. "Where do you need us to start?" Jake asked simply. The aliens stared at him. No species in their experience had ever offered help to strangers without asking for something in return. "Your navigation computer is in the main engineering section," Zekthara said slowly. "But the damage may be too severe to repair." "Let us take a look," said Chief Engineer Paul Roberts. He was a stocky man with grease-stained hands and 20 years of experience. Fixing broken machines, the humans and aliens floated through the ship's corridors toward the damaged section. Rex stayed close to Jake, his claws clicking on the metal floor whenever they passed through areas with artificial gravity. When they reached the engineering section, Paul whistled softly. The damage was worse than expected. Burned circuits and melted wiring covered most of the main computer core. "This is going to be tough," Paul said, "but not impossible. We will need to work through the night." "Through the night?" asked Commander. "Yelsik, you would spend that much time helping us?" "Of course," Jake replied. "That is what neighbors do. They help each other." The word neighbors confused the aliens. In their language, neighbors were rivals who competed for resources. But humans seemed to use the word differently. The repair work began immediately. Human engineers crawled into tight spaces to replace damaged circuits. They worked alongside alien technicians, sharing tools and knowledge. The language barrier slowed them down, but hand gestures and simple drawings helped them communicate. Rex and the other dogs wandered around the ship, curious about the strange new environment. The aliens watched them nervously at first, but gradually relaxed as they saw the dogs were just exploring. After several hours of work, disaster struck. A section of the ship's hull that had been weakened by the solar storm began to crack. Air started leaking out into space. Emergency alarms began ringing again. "Everyone to the emergency stations," Yelsik shouted, but in the confusion, one of the alien technicians, Veltar, became trapped in a damaged section. Twisted metal blocked his escape route. The air in his section was running out quickly. "We have to get him out," Jake said. "It is too dangerous," Zekthara replied. "The whole section could collapse." Jake looked at his team. "We need someone small who can get through tight spaces and find survivors." Officer Chris Baker stepped forward with his dog, Duke. Duke was a German shepherd trained in search and rescue operations. "Duke can find him," Chris said confidently. The aliens watched in amazement as Chris and Duke entered the dangerous section of the ship. Duke immediately began sniffing the air, following Veltar as sent through the maze of twisted metal. Within minutes, Duke found the trapped alien technician. Veltar was unconscious and badly hurt. Chris carefully pulled him free while Duke guided them back to safety. As they brought Veltar to the ship's medical bay, he slowly woke up. The first thing he saw was Duke's face looking down at him with concerned brown eyes. "The beast ... Veltar whispered weakly. "Duke saved your life," Chris explained. "He found you when we could not." Veltar stared at Duke in wonder. This creature had risked its own life to save an alien it had never met. There was no reward for Duke except the knowledge that he had helped someone in need. Veltar slowly reached out and touched Duke's head. Duke's tail wagged gently. "Good dog," Veltar said in careful English. It was the first time any of the aliens had used those words. And for the first time, Veltar understood what they meant. They were not words of command or control. They were words of gratitude and affection. the repair work continued through the night. Humans and aliens worked side by side, sharing food and water. The dogs wandered freely through the ship, and gradually the aliens stopped being afraid of them. By morning, the navigation system was working again. The alien ship could return home safely. As the humans prepared to leave, Ambassador Zekthera approached Captain Morrison. "Why did you help us?" he asked. "We could have been your enemies." Jake scratched Rex behind the ears and thought about the question. "Because you needed help," he said simply. "And because that is what good people do? Even for strangers?" "Especially for strangers," Jake replied. "Anyone can help their friends. It takes courage to help someone you do not know." Zekthara looked at Rex, who was sitting calmly beside Jake. "Your beasts, your dogs, they helped save Valtaris' life." "They are not beasts," Jake said gently. "They are family. And family helps family." "But we are not your family," Zekthara pointed out. Jake smiled. "Maybe not yet. But who knows what the future holds?" As the humans returned to their space station, Veltar approached Ambassador Zekthara. "I want to stay," Veltar said. "I want to learn more about humans and their dogs." "Why?" asked the ambassador. "Because they showed me something I have never seen before," Veltar replied. "They showed me what it means to care for others without expecting anything in return." Several other aliens also requested permission to stay and study human culture. They were fascinated by the idea of building relationships based on love instead of power. Ambassador Zekthara agreed to leave a small team behind to continue learning about humans. As his ship prepared to leave Earth's orbit, he sent a final message to the High Council. "Humans are not dangerous because they are strong," he reported. "They are dangerous because they can make anyone want to be part of their family. They turn enemies into friends and strangers into allies." "Is this a threat to our empire?" asked Council Leader Morduk. "Yes," Zekthara said honestly, "but not the kind of threat we expected. They threaten our empire with kindness. They threaten our power with love." The communication ended, and Zekthara looked out at the stars. He knew that news of human pack bonding would spread throughout the galaxy. Other species would want to learn this strange ability to build partnerships across species lines. On Earth, Dr. Lisa Carter received a message from the Valdorian Federation. They wanted to establish formal diplomatic relations with humanity. They also wanted to learn about human-animal training methods. Lisa smiled as she read the message. Her dog, Charlie, was sleeping at her feet, completely unaware that he had helped change galactic history.